Hello everyone, this is going to be a tutorial to use high combo gesture for setting up your gestures, etc. There may be easier ways to do this. This is just kind of how I've learned to do it and have navigated their forums to learn how to. So the first thing you want to do is install to your VCC here. I'll have this link in the description for you guys to go to easily. So download this. And then once you have that downloaded, you're going to go to VCC, go to your project and click manage, and then it should bring up this page. And then I'm going to look up high. And then the one that you want to install is high combo gesture expressions. Let me find it. Do I already have it installed? Oh, I already have it installed. Okay. This is the one that you guys want to install. High combo gesture expressions. And I usually just install the most recent version. Once you have that installed, you can go to your project. Now that we are in Unity, we will need to prepare our animations, or you guys can use the animation presets that I will provide with a link to my PayHip. But you don't have to use those. You can always just make your own. That's okay too. Usually the first thing I do is I go to my animations folder. Obviously, if you guys use the preset, it'll make an animation folder for you and import these for you. So animations, and then it'll be called gestures. And this will be all the animations that you'll need. I'll list on screen what animations you guys will need somewhere over here if you want to make your own. Okay, so to actually put these gestures to work, go to your model and scroll down to your playable layers and go to the FX. Now, if for some reason you haven't done your FX yet, that's okay. To make your own FX, you go down here to your project, right click, and then create, and then animation controller. FX. And just name whatever you want. I usually do the model name and then FX. I'm going to delete this though because I already have one. Okay. And then that FX you're going to want to put in your playable layers here. Now that we know where our FX is, we can click it again, and then click the animator tab at the top. If you do not have this tab, you can go to Window, Animation, and then Animator. So go to our animator, and then it probably be on parameters for you. Make sure to click layers, and then find your base layer. We're going to go to our gestures folder down here under animations. We're going to select all these and drag and drop them in. See, I already have them, so now I have a duplicate. And then for some reason you have an orange line goes to yours, just click, right click, empty, right click, set layer as default. It's good to have an empty animation here so you don't have anything running by default by accident. Okay, now that we have those in our FX layer, we can go back to our scene and then go to your model in the hierarchy on the left, and we're going to click we're going to press Control D to duplicate, and then we're going to press our main one and hide it over here in the inspector. And we're going to be doing our animating on a duplicate, just so if we break anything, we're breaking the duplicate and not your main avatar. Okay, with our duplicate selected, we're going to go to that FX again. Here, we're going to scroll to the top, and we're going to drag and drop our FX into the animator controller here. Okay, now at the bottom, we can go to our animation tab. If you do not have an animation tab down here, you can go up to Window, Animation, and then Animation here. Okay, now on our Animation tab with your duplicate selected here, you should already see that we have an animation here. Mine's hat. You may not have any if you made a new FX, but I have some. So we're going to do the little arrow here to drop down, and then you'll see I have them labeled gesture and then the name. So the first one we want to do is the reset. So I'll click reset, and then we're going to click this little record button. Now, the reset is going to be like the default state when a gesture is not active. So we want to do all of our face blend shapes on this. So you would click your mesh body of your avatar. Mine's named body. It might be something different for you, but it should be body. In the blend shape section, it may look like this. So it's right up here in the inspector. Your blend shapes will look like this. The only ones you don't want to include on this are like your clipping prevention if you have them, or like your body blend shapes, like adjusting sizes, or your default VRC blend shapes. You do not want to include these. You don't need to, so just leave those out. We're going to go down. So like I have emotes here. So I'm going to drag in until I'm just going to drag a little bit and back. We want everything set to 0 for the reset. So I'm going to go through and do this. And we're going to do this for every single expression blend shape. So I would just go through, I would not include my face tracking blend shapes. Okay, and once you have all of your blend shapes done, we can go ahead and go to the expression blend shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and do this really quick, and then I'll come back and get you guys and go into the next gesture. Okay, now that we have our reset animation ready to go, you have everything that you want to use set to 0. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, if you do want to include your ears or maybe tail movement in your gestures, you will want to also include them being idle on the animation. So like, for example, let me click my record button again, go to my armature and find my ear bones, neck, head, and let's say I wanted some ear movement, so I would just take all of the bones here and just move them and put them idle. So you do that for ears, maybe you want to do it for tail, or even like, I don't know, hair. I don't know why I do hair, but it might be cool. Okay, so now that we have our reset completely done, we can go click preview, and then we can go to one of our other animations. Now, I'm only going to show one animation just because once you do one, it's the same for the others. So I'll go to my first one, which is gun here at the top. I'll click the record button. And now you can just do your expression how you like. So usually when I'm doing gestures and I have them labeled, I like to actually do the gesture with my hands to visualize what type of face I do. So like this is like a gun. So either I like to do like a sly face, silly, or like angry is a good one, because you're pointing a gun at someone with your hand gesture. So wow, expression. Okay, and that's gonna be, oh, I almost forgot my ears. Wow. And then if you wanted movement, you could go over like a keyframe. So 1. And that would go up. Yeah. And then you could have go over again. Now she'll flap her ears. One thing with doing animated expression, etc., is the longer an animation is, the more unoptimized it is. So I probably would not recommend going over 12 max, maybe 20 max. Wouldn't go over that. Those are just cute little gestures. We don't need to be unoptimized with it. Okay. And now that we've done our gun gesture, you would go through and do this with every other animation besides the reset, because we already did that. So you would set up your open hand, your point, your fist, your rock, your thumb, and your victory, which is peace. So once you've gone through and do that, come back and we'll continue. Okay, now that we have our gesture animations ready to go and they're edited or made, we can actually use Hi now. So to find Hi, we're going to minimize our assets folder and go to packages. And then we're going to look for Hi combo gesture expressions. Should be this one. And then you'll see we have a few different prefabs. The one we want is this one, combo gesture expression. So I'm just going to drag and drop this into the hierarchy. And then I'm going to drop this down. Now we have a few different things. We have default, smiling, puppet. I use the default. So we'll go to default, open editor, and it opened on my other screen. Okay, so this looks like a lot. It looks intimidating. I promise it's not. We're literally just gonna be dragging and dropping animations in. So let me make this smaller so I can see. And then we're gonna go to our assets folder and go to the gesture folder we made in animations. And now we can drag and drop our gestures in. So the first one here is no gesture, which is your reset. So I'm going to drag and drop it here, and then fist, and then open, and then point. Where's my point? Victory, which is also peace. Rock, gun, and then thumbs up. Now, usually what I do is I go through and anywhere that says auto set, I will go ahead and click that. And now I'll go up again, and then for the ones that are empty, I usually do whatever gesture is here. So the first one, so this would, I would just drag my open animation into all of these. And then point. And then victory, which is peace. And then rock and roll. And then thumbs up. Okay, and then you'll see you have these two here. I don't put anything into these, so I only use these over here. Now at the top, I do want to state that there are different modes. So you have combo, mutations, which I don't know what this is. I don't know what it is. Or you can do left hand only or right hand only, but I usually do combo. So what the combo is you can see this fist plus victory. So you're going to do fist with one hand and point with the other, and this is the gesture it's going to do. So you can actually go through and make other animations for these if you wanted to. You don't really need to. It's not super noticeable, but if you wanted to, you could. And then at the top, we have prevent eye blinking. So anything that you have the eye closed, you would want to put this on. So like my gesture open, I usually have the eyes closed. So I click and it'll say eyes are closed. There are times where I forget to do this and I haven't had it cause any issues, but if for some reason it does, you may have just forgot to click here. Okay, and then we have all of our gestures in here. Okay, we can close this out. If for some reason you accidentally close that tab out, as long as you still have this prefab in your scene, you can go back to default, open editor, and your gestures are still in there. So you could keep this in your scene and save this, so if you want to do edits later on, all your gestures will already be in the place you need to be. now we need to click Combo Gesture Expressions, and we're going to actually hide our duplicate and turn on the main avatar, and then go to Combo Gesture. Avatar Descriptor, you just drag your avatar on, and then your controller here, you want your FX there. And find my avatar FX. Okay, drag the avatar FX here. I normally turn on right defaults on, but that's based if you have them on or off. I usually always turn this to on. Okay, and then we just hit this big synchronize button here. And that should be good to go. You should be all good to test it. Now, if for some reason you went back and you made changes to those original animations, again, you would just need to make sure you come to Combo Gesture and hit that synchronize button again to have any updated changes done. So now we can go to our gesture manager if you have it and test it. As you can see, the gestures are working. And then if you combine hands with it, turns off the other hand, you'll never have any clipping. Yippee. Okay, now I'm going to go into those who may want to edit animation. So if you were just doing your gesture setup, you're good to go. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, this part of the video is for those who want to maybe edit an avatar that already has existing high combo gesture expressions, or if someone, is going to use high and wants to show people how to edit the gestures. This is how you do it. Now, it's very simple. You would go to your avatar, scroll down to the playable layers and click the FX, and then go to animator. Now some avatars, a lot of mine will already have this, but if for some reason they don't, we'll have our FX and then go to the animations folder in the projects and then go to gestures. And then we're going to click all of these and drag and drop them into the base layer. If you don't see the base layer, you might be on the parameter tab, so go to layers, base layer. Cool. And then I already have a duplicate, but if you don't have one, you would Control D to make a duplicate, and then go to your main avatar and hide that. Now on the duplicate, in the inspector, scroll down to playable layers, and then click your FX. And then we're going to scroll up to the animator controller, and we're going to drag the FX into the controller. Now I'm going to go to the animation, and then the only thing you really need to edit are the rock, thumb, point, open, fist, and gun. The only other time you really need to edit the reset animation is if you want to add on new items, like a new tail, a new ear, and you want them to be animated with the gestures. To do that, whatever item you added, you would just go to the armature of that item. I'm just going to show with the ears since I don't have an extra item to show with. So armature, I'm going to find my ear bones for my bunny ears. Okay, and you would just animate them however they would look idly or like static, so like that. And then you click preview, and now you can go to your other gestures, and they should be labeled like this, so gesture gun, and you could just edit this animation however you want it to look. So if you want to find the expression blend shapes to your avatar, it should be on the body. And you can see all these blend shapes. If you want to delete the expressions on the current one, you can see all the things here, and you can just shift click these, right click, and delete key. I left the ears, but if you wanted to delete those two, you could. And then you can just hit the record button and apply whatever blend shapes you want to be active for the expression. And this will work for all of the, let me get a preview, all of the blend shapes here. Or not blend shapes, sorry, I'm getting tired. All of the expressions, so your thumb, rock, victory, which is your peace sign, point, open, fist, and gun. So it would work for any of those. So once you have your gestures, edited how you want, whatever, I'm going to delete my duplicates and then turn on my main avatar. And then you'll want to use the combo gesture expression prefab, which if you don't have that in your scene already, you'll go down to packages and then look for high combo gesture expression. And then you can see it's this one here, you just drag and drop. Okay, and then on the combo gesture expression, drag your avatar into the avatar descriptor. And then down here we have our FX controller, so you want to drag and drop your avatar FX into here. If you're having a hard time finding it, you can go to your avatar, scroll down to playable layers, and the FX is here, and you can click to find it. I'll go back to combo gesture and drag that in. And then under the FX animator controller, we want to turn this to right defaults on. Okay. And then now we click the combo gesture expression over here again. We'll do the drop down arrow next to it and go to default. And then open editor. Now, as you can see, I already have my gestures in here. So we're just gonna go to your animation folder and then gestures down below. You see this is all my gestures for my yes, this is all my gestures, animations, oh my gosh. Okay, and then you'll see you have no gesture, fist, open, point, victory, rock, gun, and thumb. So we'll want to drag the animations from here into these slots. So no gestures or reset, so you would drag the reset in, fist, open, point. So you just drag all these in, and then you'll be prompted with some of them having auto set. So do the auto set for this first row, and the first one's on the way down. And then to fill in the middle, you would just do the first gesture that's here. So I think that was the reset. So open, all the way open, point, all the way point, victory, all the way victory, rock, all the way rock, and gun, gun, and thumb. Obviously, this is not the best explanation. I did explain it earlier in the video, so if you'd like to jump further to when I was having people actually make the gestures themselves, you can see it there. I will say, if you're doing this for one of NovaPi avatars, I do have an extra step. I'll probably put that in another video later on. A lot of my avatars, newer ones, I have it where you can toggle this off. That is an extra step. Well, actually, I'll just go ahead and explain it to you guys. So hopefully I do this for all avatars. If for some reason it's not working on one, it's because I either don't have it set up or I need something different. So I'll make sure that going forward, all of mine are named how it should. Now you have this part set up for your default. And so now we need to set up for the gesture toggle. Now, if you don't want the gesture toggle, just skip ahead a little bit. You can ignore this part. For those who do like toggle and want it to keep it, what we're going to do is go to our animation folder. We're going to right click, create animation, and we're just going to name this empty. Okay, now we go to combo gesture expression. We were on default. Now for this one, we're going to go to our smiling. We click open editor, and we're going to drag empty into every single slot. And then you should just be able to click auto set for all of them. Okay, now we can close this out. We'll go to combo gesture expression, and then to actually set it up, it's going to be in the mood sets. So this one is, you can see our default, and the second one is smiling. And then over here in the parameter name, it says CGE smiling. We're just going to want to name this gesture with an uppercase G. And we're going to click synchronize. And you should be good now. If you want to test this, you can use Gesture Manager. And that should be it. So I hope this helps. If you guys have any problems, feel free to message in the help channel in my Discord server, and I'll try to help you guys, because I know I'm not always the best at explaining stuff. So if anything's confusing, just use the help channel and I'll help where I can. Okay, bye-bye.